Hustler Casino Live, one of the most widely watched poker streams, is now facing its biggest scandal yet. Co-founder Nick Vertucci has found himself at the center of disturbing allegations of sexual misconduct that have sent shockwaves throughout the poker community. What started as a single accusation quickly snowballed, with multiple women stepping forward to share their troubling experiences. From inappropriate advances toward players and staff to attempts at silencing victims, the revelations paint a dark picture of the man behind one of poker's most popular shows. The first to speak out was poker player Julia McBride, who shared screenshots of unsolicited text messages from Vertucci. These texts revealed a pattern of inappropriate behavior, with Vertucci commenting on McBride's body and suggesting they could have so much fun if she weren't in a relationship. But as more stories surfaced, it became clear that this was just the tip of the iceberg. McBride's revelations didn't end there. She revealed that Vertucci's advances weren't an isolated incident. On multiple occasions, both in person and through texts, Vertucci continued to ask her out, even after she repeatedly declined. Initially, McBride brushed off the harassment in hopes of maintaining her spot on the popular poker stream. However, after being unexpectedly banned from Hustler Casino Live in June, she decided it was time to speak out. McBride's courage opened the floodgates, prompting others to come forward and share their own experiences with Vertucci. Following Julia McBride's decision to go public, poker pro Kitty Kuo came forward with her own unsettling experience involving Nick Vertucci. Kuo recalled an incident from 2019 during a live-streamed cash game, where Vertucci crossed the line in a shocking way. In the middle of the game, Vertucci allegedly showed Kuo an explicit photo of himself, completely unsolicited. Kuo, known for her bold personality, didn't hold back in her response. She publicly recounted how she called out Vertucci in real time, making it clear that his behavior wasn't going to intimidate her. Despite the awkwardness and potential fallout, Kuo emphasized that speaking up was crucial, even if it jeopardized her chances of appearing on future Hustler Casino live streams. One of the most disturbing revelations in the unfolding scandal is Nick Vertucci's alleged attempt to discredit Julia McBride after she came forward with her accusations. According to McBride, instead of addressing the allegations, Vertucci took a more sinister approach, trying to dig up dirt on her to undermine her credibility. He reportedly reached out to other poker players who knew her, searching for any information that could be used against her. This wasn't just an act of self-defense. It appeared to be a calculated move to shift the narrative away from his own actions. By making McBride the target, Vertucci seemed intent on silencing her and intimidating others from speaking out. McBride voiced her frustration over this, explaining that Vertucci went so far as to imply that his inappropriate behavior was somehow justified based on how she dressed. It's a tactic seen all too often in harassment cases, an attempt to blame the victim rather than accept responsibility. The scandal took another dark turn with the story of Lauren, a former dealer for Hustler Casino Live. Known for her professionalism, Lauren was a well-respected figure at the table, even dealing the first ever hand on the streamed poker show. However, her experience behind the scenes was far from celebratory. During a game, a player made inappropriate comments, joking that Lauren would owe him a kiss if she didn't deal the right cards. Lauren initially laughed it off, but the harassment didn't stop there. Lauren reported more significant harassment, allegedly involving Nick Vertucci. Shortly after filing her complaints, she was dismissed from her position at Hustler Casino. McBride, in additional tweets, hinted at this, noting that Lauren had faced far worse treatment than what was publicly known. Her dismissal raised serious questions about how harassment claims were being handled behind the scenes at Hustler Casino Live, further shaking the reputation of the once celebrated poker stream. Actress and poker player Arden Cho also added her voice to the growing list of women speaking out against Vertucci. During a poker event, Cho recalled a disturbing incident where Vertucci made inappropriate comments, even suggesting she perform a strip search on him. The behavior wasn't just inappropriate, it crossed the line into outright harassment. Cho's decision to come forward underscored the widespread nature of Vertucci's behavior, showing it extended beyond just the players and staff directly involved with Hustler Casino Live. Making matters worse, some of Vertucci's inappropriate behavior was actually captured on Hustler Casino live streams. In one instance, during a game, Vertucci was seen touching fellow player Sashimi's ear without her consent. Despite her clear discomfort and repeated requests to stop, Vertucci dismissed her protests, calling it the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The footage, which was once seen as an awkward moment, now carries much heavier weight in light of the other accusations against him. Veronica Brill, another prominent figure in the poker world, shared her own interactions with Nick Vertucci, revealing just how deeply she had been deceived. Initially, Brill believed Vertucci's reassurances that the allegations were baseless. He positioned himself as nothing more than a flirt, and Brill, having a close professional relationship with him, accepted his version of events. But after Julia McBride's tweets surfaced, it became clear to Brill that Vertucci had been hiding the full extent of his misconduct. Brill ultimately described Vertucci as a creepy dude and a manipulator, saying that his behavior was part of a broader pattern of using his influence in the poker world to control situations and silence others. Her decision to go public with her experience was pivotal in encouraging others to share their stories, further exposing Vertucci's misconduct. Garrett Adelstein, no stranger to controversy himself, was quick to weigh in on the scandal surrounding Nick Vertucci. Adelstein, a well-known figure in the poker community, commended the bravery of the women who stepped forward, stating that their courage likely protected countless others from similar harassment. For Adelstein, Vertucci's removal from Hustler Casino Live was necessary, but he didn't believe it was enough. He expressed frustration, noting that the deeper issues within the organization still hadn't been addressed. In his view, this scandal was reminiscent of the infamous Jack 4 incident, where Adelstein believed he was cheated during a high-stakes game on Hustler Casino Live. Both situations, he suggested, involved abuse of power and a lack of accountability. Adelstein's vocal stance helped ignite further discussion within the poker community, pushing for deeper scrutiny not only of Vertucci, but of those who may have enabled his behavior. Other poker personalities also chimed in. Ash Kardash shared her own story of unwanted advances from Vertucci, explaining that, as a newcomer to the poker world, she feared speaking out would hurt her career. However, with more women coming forward, Kardash felt compelled to share her experience. Meanwhile, Nick Airball, who was himself banned from Hustler Casino, added his voice to the chorus of those demanding accountability. Airball publicly called for Vertucci to step down completely, offering his support to anyone whose career had been impacted as a result of speaking out. Not everyone in the poker world shared the same perspective on the scandal. Poker player Nadia Magnus offered a different take, expressing that she didn't view Julia McBride as a victim. In Magnus's eyes, McBride's continued involvement with Hustler Casino Live, despite the alleged harassment, perpetuated the idea that women in the industry needed to tolerate inappropriate behavior to get ahead. Magnus argued that both Vertucci and McBride's actions had been harmful to women in poker, adding a layer of complexity to the conversation surrounding the scandal. As the accusations piled up, Hustler Casino Live could no longer remain silent. The poker stream eventually released a statement announcing that Nick Vertucci would no longer be associated with the brand. While this move was met with relief from many in the community, others questioned how deep the issue went and whether removing Vertucci was enough to fix the underlying problems. For Vertucci, the fallout was swift. He deleted all of his social media accounts and has yet to make a public statement. But for many, the question remains: how much of Hustler Casino Live's reputation can be salvaged, and what changes need to be made to ensure that this kind of behavior never happens again? As Nick Vertucci steps out of the spotlight, many questions still remain. Will Hustler Casino Live be able to recover its reputation? Or will this scandal leave a permanent stain on one of poker's most popular platforms? And perhaps the biggest question of all, who else knew about Vertucci's behavior? And what will come to light next? This story is far from over, and the poker community is left waiting to see what unfolds in the days and weeks ahead. If you don't want to miss any updates on this unfolding controversy or the latest in poker scandals and stories, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Ace's Full Poker. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of high-stakes poker.